Welcome to the Neuropreneur Rising podcast. I'm your host, Polly Pollock, and I'm a marketing coach for neurodivergent, creative, and chaotic online business owners. I'm here to show you how to grow a sustainable, profitable business with marketing that doesn't rely on social media algorithms, hustle culture, or squeezing yourself into a rigid box that just does not fit your spicy brain. I've been in the marketing world for nearly a decade, and I've seen firsthand with myself and with hundreds of business owners what works and what doesn't for people like us, which is why I'm here to show you that you do not have to dim your unique brilliance to be wildly successful in business. So if you're ready for more peace, more profit, and a life-first business that feels like you, then strap in because we're just getting started. Okay guys, welcome back to the Neuropreneur Rising podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Erin Rogers. She is an intuitive mentor and breathwork facilitator who helps entrepreneurs reconnect with clarity, confidence, and decision making through nervous system regulation. She's very big on intuition. She has 20 years experience or over 20 years experience working in this space, evolving through that long period, and now she combines neuroscience, breathwork, and intuitive awareness to help entrepreneurs move out of mental loops, which we can all relate to in this space, and move into a more grounded and embodied approach to self-leadership and business overall. So welcome, Erin. Thank you so much for being here.
Amazing. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, and I just want to say, so a little bit off topic, but your website is probably the sexiest website I've ever laid my fucking eyes on. It's incredible.
Thank you. I actually own a domain because I don't know if anyone else in this world loves that, but I own a lot of domains. But the domain's called Nothing Beige. I just can't, and I really get it, but like I prefer to have a colorful backdrop if we can.
It is incredible. I'll leave it in the description for you guys to check out, but it is like an acid trip is the only way I can describe it. I was so calmed like when I went on your website.
It was meant to be kind of like a journey, like a journey you do like in a really great meditation or a sound bath or something. So thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome. So first of all, tell me where you started, like a little bit into your story, how you started working with high performers, I believe in corporate, and now kind of working with entrepreneurs in the way that you do.
Yeah, of course. So I think like a lot of great people, I was highly competitive in sports growing up, which transitioned into a role that was HR, but it was sales like, and it kind of just catapulted me from there. So I've been mostly doing like recruiting and HR, which I find is such a gateway to the rest of the work I do. I basically became a professional in active listening, and people would be like, well, how do you know? Because I would just do so many diverse roles. And I go, well, you just listen to what you do and don't say. And I slowly realized there were all these intuitive things I was saying about how I actually was successful over all that time. Because the kind of role I had, I'd be, interviewing CEOs and people working in warehouse and everything in between, and you can't be an expert. So it's actually, I eventually realized I'd been leaning on my intuition the whole time to be able to work on such a diverse set of skills. And then also with such a diverse set of people, you never know who you're going to meet. So over the years, just really like had wanted to work for top companies, was like the head person in my role, and all interesting, but the missing link for me was we were all pretending like this was normal, was that missing link. And I feel like we could use the word matrix, but it was like I was pushing, I was striving, I was having financial success, but I was like, so we're all just going to pretend like this is the normal world, because I feel like everyone goes home and takes off a mask, because if I see you in the real world, it's not the same. And I was just like, I think probably a little tired from what I learned afterwards was masking, but also just like, why not just be yourself? Why are we pretending to use these corporate words and this corporate speak? And it just looked like a big make-believe game that I was like, oh, it's all made up, so I'm going to try to make something else up. And over that time, I talk about this pivotal moment where I bought my first apartment, and I was quite young, and I had just like worked like a dog, like just crazy 60-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks, thinking like, this is it. Bought the apartment, worst day of my life. because the belief of what I thought I would get by acquiring the success wasn't there. So it was the greatest blessing, because I was like, oh, thank God, we're not going to just go down this rabbit hole for 20 years thinking money's going to make me happy. But also it was like the start of the path of being like, well, what will make me happy? And I have very, if you're into astrology, my parents are both Capricorns and I'm a Sagittarius. My parents are like, we love the structure. We are the structure. And I'm like, I don't need any of that. And so it started, so therapy, amazing. Ultimately somatic therapy, more amazing. Then I started getting into tarot cards and these other pieces. And as I kind of opened myself up to spirit and channeling and other conversations, it just really showed me that everything is made up. Someone else could live in a totally different reality. And maybe there was a better reality for me, meaning usually I think, fast talking, fast thinking, I can take on a lot at once. I also need to like just shut down every once in a while and unplug. So it all sort of led up to this moment where in 2019, I went to my first spiritual retreat after I learned I could channel and I was intuitive and I was doing human design readings, and I was in a car that got hit by lightning, and I had gotten a message that I had to quit my whole life. And I was like, I don't want to do that.
Oh my God.
That's really inconvenient, Spirit. I really have other things to do.
I'd rather not.
And I was like, oh, you're pretty serious about this. So within 2 months, I quit everything, left the country. I had all this like very like serendipitous money showed up, which I used to always be so mad when people would say that just showed up nowhere. Money showed up, alignment showed up, and I drove down to Sedona, Arizona, where I got hit by lightning, which is in the United States, and I live in Canada. And I arrived 2 weeks before COVID started. And that is where my COVID journey kicked off, which was actually the perfect place to be for that whole crazy experience.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. So much of what you like, I'm a grounded spiritual person. You know what I mean? Like I don't let it, like I started off in the spiritual kind of industry, so to speak. So I'm still very woo, but like I'm very grounded, but there's also things like that where you can't ignore. And it's just like, oh shit, spirit. Okay, I'm listening. Like I'd really rather not. Like you said, it's a bit inconvenient that you're asking me to like uproot my whole life, even though it's completely misaligned. But
I was like, my mind has a plan. And they're like, your mind is shit. We're not going on that plan. That plan is too limited. And if anyone asks, yes, your spiritual moves should be grounded. I had a house, so I had a line of credit, so I had a backup plan. Like these people that just throw caution to the wind, I'm like, my nervous system can't handle that. I'll tell you the realistic in the real world thing. My nervous system can't handle a full send without a safety net. So I have to adjust, and that's like the realistic portion of it. But it was a wild time.
Yeah, for sure. And like, your kind of description of the corporate vibe of masking and everyone kind of walking around like, what's going on? Like, is this normal? Like, it's so true as well. I also used to be in corporate, and it's hard when you're a high performer, isn't it? Because you have this drive and it's like an itch that needs to be scratched, and corporate and being in those high pressure jobs really does scratch that itch. But then it crumbles at some point and you're like, I'm just pushing through, and like I kind of like the feeling. It feels good, and then it feels really shit most of the time. But you're right, like in entrepreneurship you get to combine both. Like you get to combine this like free hippie little intuitive fluid spirit with this like driven like woman who is fit for corporate but doesn't want to destroy her soul basically.
100%. Like I have noticed, I don't know if you've noticed this, people that have been in corporate and then gone to work for themselves, there is an element of structure that does help, and I believe like structure for flow. And the only thing I'll say about especially neurodivergence, I believe in corporate, is you're so capable and you can give such a high level, but you can't do it forever. And so I had to learn to be like, I'm only going to start at my 50%. And I'll get to like 60, and they're like, you're the best person ever. And I go, I don't think I am, but I'm happy you're happy. And like just learning that just because you have high capacity, it also means, I think we forget to like count for everything else in our life, meaning like the burnout, the fatigue, the like, we actually can't deliver at our 100 all the time. Although I feel like in my experience, neurodivergents believe we can. And then we're 2 years in and we have to like up and quit, and we're so frustrated. And so I had to learn to give 50 to 60 and know that was still perceived as better than most. And so great, cool, then I have like capacity for the rest, which meant I started my own business.
Yeah, oh my gosh. And it's not for everyone. Business is not for everyone,
No.
and that's the thing that I think so many ADHD and neurodivergent entrepreneurs, they think they're so incapable, but it's like you have no fucking idea, because half of the population, in fact 80% of the population, wouldn't even start their own business. So and that's not like a shame on you if you don't. It's just not for everyone. It's not everyone's thing. Some people want
Yeah.
a family, and that's like that's their whole world, and they don't want to, whatever your thing is. But I think it's like, yeah, we think that our our 50% is like someone else's 100%, because we're like machines, and people, I think, don't realize that. But yeah, it takes you like up until the first couple years to look and see, oh my gosh, yeah, I've been going like so gung-ho that I haven't been looking after my wellness and my well-being. And I love the kind of view on, in order for me to be at my most productive, I know that I have to have like a really, really tight routine of like my health and wellness needs to be so in check. And that looks like me working at 60% in the day. But actually, that's me working at like 150% because I've maximized that through self-care, if that makes sense.
100%. And also, like,
Mm,
listen, I work in HR and recruitment. I have some very like specific views, but like, do the job that's there. And if you want to
mm,
get an advancement, maybe do 10% more.
mm,
But actually, nobody's going to reward you for doing 110, 150% of the
yeah.
job, because then they'll just want you to stay in that job. So I also have that like
Yeah.
viewpoint of being like, do a great job, but you don't have to do
Mm,
more. I don't know. I feel like work culture has changed so much in 20 years that it's like, I came to
mm,
work and I'm going to do a really great job at this thing.
yeah. Yeah.
But
It has
no,
changed.
no, Sally, whatever. Like, I'm not going to do three people's jobs. And I really like that about the generation that I'd say is younger than me. It's just being like, no, that's insane. Why would I? Why would I? Why do you think that's okay?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna do what you're not paying me for,
And
like
I think
basically.
neurodivergents are the number one people who tend to say yes,
Mm,
because in theory you can do it, but you can't do it
mm-hmm.
forever, and that's where we get trapped. So I think that's
Yeah.
like, versus, I don't know, get really good at knitting, or like go start a business, like go have a hyperfixation
Yeah.
somewhere else so that you can
Mm.
recharge.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're so right. And like it for sure spills out in entrepreneurship as well. Because you'll think like, okay, if I just have more output, I'm gonna make more money. And like it's so weird in the online world, because especially in you might see what I'm talking about, the very nervous system heavy business coaches. Like, which is great. We need nervous system heavy business coaches.
Yeah.
But some of them kind of, I think what they say gets taken out of context sometimes, with like working harder or working hard doesn't equal more money. And like, yeah, it does. You do have to work hard, but I think what they're trying to say, and it sometimes gets taken out of context, in like you can just manifest in a bubble bath and that's all the work you need to do. I
Hmm.
think what my view on it is, working yourself to the ground at like 200% every single day on
Yeah.
just more output isn't actually as strategic as you think, and that's not going to bring you in more money when
No.
you're just doing busy work all the fucking time.
Okay, I'm obsessed with this topic because, and I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I have a real "I believe you" kind of attitude where I'm like, if you tell me that, I believe you.
Mm,
It's an odd innocence that I can never quite understand. So when I first came in the
mhm.
online world, especially like 2019, 2020, I genuinely believed people, and then I kind of, because I was also online, I would meet people and I'd be like, "Oh, you're lying." It was, I don't know, I'm sure there's
Yeah.
some movie I can equate it to, but it was like, I genuinely believed you when you said you were working 2 hours a day, and I shouldn't have, but I really believed you, because why would you lie about that? And then
Mm,
all of them that I met, and I don't even know, I can't say they knew they were lying, but no one was working 2 hours a day. There
yeah,
are
literally.
there it is possible. I have seen maybe, let's say like a supplement company. I can understand that eventually you get to the point where you've worked it up and you've worked yourself out of the business. But most
Hmm.
people are lying, and I don't know if that's a neurodivergence or just some sort of foolishness, but I'd be like, "Oh, you were up till 11 p.m." Or like we were messaging, and like, so that really helped me realize that, one, they were doing things they loved, so maybe their nervous system was more regulated than if I was doing the same in corporate. So maybe it didn't
Mm,
feel like they were working as much. But when I tell you, I was like, there's someone in there's this coach in Canada who did like a pyramid scheme kind of coaching thing, and I was like, and I have had this auditory piece, so I could hear the cadence of her voice in everyone and her downline basically, and I was like, and they were all saying the same lie, and I'm like, there's too many people saying, I can feel it. I could feel it was a lie, but I
mm,
just believe them. But like, yeah, you got to work hard. it might not feel as hard as a corporate job because you're actually passionate about what you do. You probably still have to peel yourself away because you will still overdo it. And don't believe everything you see online in a way that's like, what was wild to me. I was like, yeah, I really believe you.
Dude, I know you feel like you're the only. It's like, oh my God, I was so stupid. I was exactly the same. I talk about this all the time. That's how
Okay.
I got. I know, literally, and so many people that come into my coaching have
Hmm.
exactly the same experiences because, and mine was again, my first business coach was when I took my in-person business online around the same time as you, and I remember being like, yeah, why would she lie? Like, she wouldn't lie. Why would you do that? That's illegal, surely. Because I came from like a very structured, like that was before I was pretty much in corporate. I'm thinking there's got to be some like legalities. You know, she has 12,000 followers. That's like so many. And like, obviously she's like, she's like the queen. And I
Yeah,
was like, I feel so bad for like that me, but
I
it's
know.
also
Or
so
like,
funny.
if I could just get 10,000 followers, I'd be a millionaire. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really, it got me. I was really great at
Mm,
like infomercials. Like, I was your prime candidate, but because
yeah.
I wouldn't lie.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Exactly.
You're like, I wouldn't
Exactly.
lie. I would just tell you how it is. So, anyways, I think
Hmm.
that's just like a funny perspective. That's like, it's a little niche. Only people that have been in the industry understand that. But it's like, oh, I get people are lying online, but I didn't think those people were lying online. And I don't even know if it's, anyways, like we can go down a whole, like, I'm sure
Yeah.
they had their own survival and their nervous system was upticked, ironically, but
Hmm.
that's one of the wildest things I think about being in the business is that it's not. And I do believe authenticity, and it's maybe a bit overused now, but it's becoming. I'm noticing people resonate with me more, and I think I'm so
Mm,
authentic to a fault almost. But it's because I
mm,
don't have to pretend anymore. I don't have to make the perfect reel or the perfect carousel, and like I think that's where like neurodivergence and ADHD is like, it's our time.
yeah.
Catch me outside telling you the truth. Maybe a little too directly, but you know what? I'll also be just kind of like, I think you look amazing, but I might
Yeah.
also tell you those shoes are shit. Like, but like,
Yeah.
it's authentic and I'm never trying to hurt your feelings, but I think it's like that's a great thing for people that are neurodivergent is like this is your time to shine. There's a real space.
Yeah. Yeah, there is, and that's the beauty of the online business space is we're living in the like era of and have been for a while of personal branding and like I I did not used to be myself online at all when I was in the
Yeah.
spiritual industry really deep in it and I was like, oh my God, I was terrified. I was so scared. Um, but just going back to kind of what you were saying about believing everyone and then almost like being like, why the fuck did you do that? Like that self frustration I feel like leads me into my next question about self trust and intuition, which is something that you work really closely with. And I personally, just on that topic of making decisions that we all have to make in business, and if you didn't, you'd probably be moving way too slow in business, in my opinion. If you haven't failed, if you haven't fucked up, then you're probably not making like taking enough action. That's
Hmm.
pretty like bold, but that's what I personally believe. You have to
Yeah.
fuck up, you have to fail. But there's this real like frustration, especially being ADHD with the rejection sensitivity and the self-loathing that comes in at times where you've made bad
Yeah.
decisions.
Yeah.
Regaining that self-trust can be really hard, and honestly, it just comes, in my opinion, from just getting back on the horse and just being like, whatever, it's a mistake, let's go. But
Hmm.
from a nervous system perspective and point of view, what's your kind of view on that?
Hmm. Yeah. Great question. A few things. So it's probably you can hear that I'm always like my number one test subject. So it was like, well, I can't just keep being so literal. I need to tune into my own body. So actually, part of
Mm-hmm.
that whole experience of being like, I was just like being fed and not even. I wasn't embodied when I was being fed this content online. I was kind of that like we checked out, right? That's why we love social media to a degree. It gives us a break from maybe our busy minds.
Yeah.
Um, and that was the number one thing I noticed was like, oh, I'm out of my body, meaning like I'm not present in the moment. Basically, it's like, and the way to know that you're present in the moment is like, can you actually like stop and notice that this flower is beautiful? Like, can you take appreciation for the moment instead of like overcomplicating it? Can you actually just be in the
Mm-hmm.
moment? And usually, then you can like feel your body and your elbows and all those pieces. So to then become in my body and present meant I could hear because my body and I'm gonna in my opinion, all ADHDers and neurodivergents are hypersensitive. It's that we're actually disembodied because we can't handle it, but it's a superpower once you learn to harness it. And the superpower is you actually can't really get lied to anymore. You can't, all these things, all of a sudden your body is like, for me, if you're in the world of human design, I'm a generator, and my body is so literal. It's like it leans away, being like, oh gosh, or it leans in,
Yeah.
and then my job sometimes is to just tune in and say um, is this is like a trigger looking to transform. So sometimes it
Mm.
doesn't mean it's the best thing in the like huge scope, but in the moment it's gonna like get me to self-reflect, or it's gonna get me to change, or it's gonna get me to like not do that thing again because I've asked for a new outcome in life. So I think even if you go through something that you deem is not good, it probably got you
Mm.
to a new outcome. So one, it's like being embodied, feeling your feet on the ground. You can do a grounding exercise, and then your body is technically a pendulum. So if you learn to use it, which is just to see if it sways forwards and backwards.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've done this before, but like you can just
Yeah.
ask, and you can ask your body, show me yes, show me no. But like
Yeah.
it showed me that I had this intuitive power on so many levels. So one, I hear auditory, so I can hear things being like, don't do that. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
great. But sometimes if you're not in the moment, you miss that. So I find the body sometimes can be a stronger tool. But like you said, with routine, it's like, yeah, I probably do need to meditate or walk. I need to physically move or meditate so that I come back to myself. I don't get
Hmm.
overly obsessed externally. I check in to see how things are going. And then I also just have to be okay with like, and sometimes I won't get it right. In the world of human design, I am designed to do trial and error, which means you have to fuck up, fail, and do it again. And rejection sensitivity is real. It's kind of also just having I don't know how you deal with it, but I'm just like, yeah, that's real.
Hmm.
It's really hard. You're going to be a little
Yeah.
upset. You might be a little hesitant. Um, and if I have a really big rejection reaction, it's usually an inner child piece. Um, and I'm fairly self-led. There are actual therapists and people that are professionally trained, but my practice is just to go in and to ask what age am I that's reacting to this?
Hmm.
Because it's
Mm.
rarely present day me, and then I usually can go in and self-inquire and be like, oh, I'm like 6. Okay, yeah, the 6-year-old is freaked out. I need to let her know that actually adult Erin has got it. You're not in charge.
Mm.
It's okay. You can go back to the playground. So I've had to build a lot of tools over the years, and I miss it sometimes. But like um, I think back to the original point of your question, but everything you need is inside of you. But sometimes you need external guides to help you come back to that, and that's where it's supportive. But never believe the lie someone else has more authority over you that's outside of you. You have everything, but it's okay. The visual I always see is like, let me carry my light alongside yours until yours is bright enough to shine your own path. That's like the visual I see that I think sometimes is really simplistic, but that's what guides and coaches and healers are doing. No one's doing it for you, but they're just lighting the path long enough until your light's bright enough to see your own path.
Oh, I fucking love that. I just got like that's how yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is the job of us as coaches, is like we don't like fix people, right? Whether you're like a business coach, a healer, a guide, like a personal coach. I so agree, and that's the whole point of coaching, is like your client has everything that they need in them, but it can be really difficult for us and other people and our students and clients to bring that out, and that's where coaching comes in so powerful. And sometimes it's like, yeah, it's the guidance so that you're not doing it alone. Oh yeah, that is so powerful.
All right, guys, quick pause here because I want to personally invite you to the Procrastination Station, which is our free weekly community coaching sessions that I run every single week personally, specifically for neurodivergent online business owners who want to get visible and start marketing without the weight of social media. And look, I know you do not need yet another freaking PDF to just download and forget about, or a checklist or tool that you're just going to forget about in 5 minutes. And with brains like ours, what we actually need is to experience things live with real support in real time. And that's exactly why I created these weekly sessions. The procrastination station is all about getting you out of the quote unquote, I wish I could market without social media mindset, and getting you moving forward in a way that fits you, your capacity, your energy, your creativity, your life. Every week has a slightly different theme, and you'll get real-time personalized coaching from me, someone who works specifically with neurospicy brains. You can bring the marketing tasks or questions you've been stuck on, get personalized feedback, or if you're not even sure where to start, do not worry, I will be right there to prompt, guide, and teach you. I'll leave the link in the show notes so you can join us every week, absolutely free, and I really hope to see you there. All right, let's get back to it.
So when we think about being in like decision paralysis, or you have this lack of self-trust, or you feel like scared to use your intuition and make these decisions for yourself, what kind of goes on in the body when an entrepreneur is stuck in that kind of mode of just being paralyzed and not taking action, whether that's from a place of like not feeling safe or not even knowing how to use your intuition, or like you kind of touched on earlier, kind of believing someone else over themselves, which is so tricky anyway in business, because sometimes you are at a point where you don't know more than like a coach or someone delivering information, but then sometimes you are. And with the noise of social media, it can be a constant battle of like, I'm listening to like 10 people, and it can leave people feeling really, really stuck in business.
100%. And this happens to me all the time. It happens to me when I make a move bigger than I've made before significantly. And it always sort of like, I would say like it jerks my nervous system. I'm like, oh, and so what's happened for me, and this is like, I think is just to realize your pattern. So you don't have to fix anything, but I do think the noticing is the most powerful. And I happen to have some friends that I'll go, hey, I'm really stuck in this thing. And a few things that I think are helpful that I do and I think other people can do is, one, just notice like, oh, I'm really like, my nervous system's upticked. And so what, do you have a playbook? So I'd recommend a playbook. Playbook for me includes, very obvious nature, but sometimes you can't get in nature. A shower, like just water in general. And if you have some like bath salts, that really can help us like bring our nervous system down. I find things like hot tea, moving my body, maybe sweating in a sauna. Like sometimes you can't actually even do a physical exertion, but can you fake one through like a sauna or something else like that? So whatever your playbook is to bring yourself back, and you'll know you're back, you'll really feel it. And if you tend to get stuck, it might also mean that like in your playbook you have a therapist, or maybe it's like an online therapist. I can't say. Binaural beats for me specifically, or I'm super sensitive to sound as an example. So anything that brings you back. And then usually the way I know that I'm out of it is like I can journal. It's like I can't do certain things in that like triggered state. So it's like I journal, or I can call a friend, but you'll sort of notice. So if you tend to get really stuck, you might need external support on a longer term to refigure your nervous system so that you can take sort of like more expansion, basically. Like if, let's say, you were only ever doing Instagram lives and you were going to go to a podcast, and in your body you thought the podcast was going to see 100,000 people, like that's a big jump for your nervous system's perception, as an example. So all those pieces, but basically if you're someone that notices it, also get familiar with the stages of fight, flight, or fawn. So know what you're in. My personal favorite is fawn. Really unfortunate. That's the most like it's a dorsal vagal shutdown. So it just means that I know that I have more efforts to kind of get myself back to stable than if I was in flight, for example. So there's just like dorsal vagal shutdowns means your whole nervous system has shut down versus it's triggered. So that does need more support. And so just realizing the levels you're at. If you're fight or flight, it might mean like fight means like maybe actually punching a pillow might actually finish the cycle enough for you, and the physical like pushback could actually get you out of that. Flight means in that case perhaps walking or like getting a move on can help you at least feel like you have enough power to move through the fear, as an example. So those are sort of some options for you. And then here's my big annoying tip. I don't think anyone knows a lot more than any of us about our own personal journey, because no one else has done it before. You haven't done it. They haven't done it. So an example is like, if I need to reach out to you and be like, how do I upload a podcast? Yeah, you know that like logical action. Yeah. But like, should my podcast be about A, B, or C? Should I interview these types of people? Like, ultimately, you're inside, and a really great coach will point you back to you. So if there is like tangible things that need to get done, yes, someone might be more ahead than you. But personal choices, you either need someone who can point you back to feeling into the one that's best for you, or honestly, a really great simple thing is doing automatic writing and write to yourself from someone that's from your version of yourself that's a year ahead. And you'll be surprised how often you really nail it. You're like, wow, that was really great advice. And because you kind of take yourself into that perspective spot of like, you're not so attached to this one action, you have some perspective. So I think it's always, because really, I don't think you can get it that wrong. Maybe like an example is I'm making hats and hats, bags, and sweatsuits, and they're going to be about your aura, because I want people to talk in public, be like, I see you wearing your aura. Should I order 100 or 100,000? Like, yes, that's a logical physical decision. That could actually make or break me. But the type of color I should use, like, it's ultimately going to resonate more if I choose the words and the colors that resonate with me versus over-engineering it. So I think create a playbook. I always tell my clients to put it on their notes on their phone and just say, read if triggered, or like something. Because sometimes when you're so triggered, you can't even remember where to go look. So make it as like easy as possible on paper. Take as many steps as you can, go a little slower, and then come back to sort of that more neutral state.
I love that. And just to prove that this is such an effective thing that I also so agree with, I literally have that right here every day.
God, that's amazing.
I have it right here, and it's my like core values. And if I'm ever getting in my head about something stupid, I will come back to my core values, and I'd be like, I'll just, like you said, go to my playbook, take a step outside. We can get so caught up in the tiny little nitty-gritty things that build up. And again, this is, in my opinion, like since I've come kind of off of social media for my marketing and I've really kind of moved my brand that way, I've really noticed how much that checking your phone first thing in the morning, uploading your post for the day, going back, scrolling, and then you've got an email that pings off, and then you've got a Stripe notification that a failed payment that hasn't gone through, I don't know, some shit, and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And by midday, you can feel like you're a terrible business owner, your life sucks, and it doesn't. It's just your nervous system is like shitting itself, basically, and you got to come back to what you know works for you. Personally, I'm the same. I love like a cold shower, step outside, just feel my feet on the grass, and just kind of understimulate myself for a little bit and come back to just a little bit of like logic when I'm triggered, but can help. And that has definitely been a lot better since coming off of social media, just saying.
Yeah, amazing. So when you're off social media, where are you?
For like my life or my business?
Yeah, both.
So, well, life, I'm just not on my phone and I'm loving it, and I'm spending more time outside and spending more time doing, like, if I want to find some information or if I really want to do something, I'll listen to more podcasts, or I'll which I do try, and I do get like obsessed, like that ADHD part of me that's just like, oh my God, and I don't even mean to do it, I'll just have it playing on my headphones. I'll just watch TV if I'm really like craving screen time. I'll do that, like maybe for like 20 minutes on my little lunch break. I'm really just not on my phone. I'm not on anything anymore. It's so nice. I feel like my nervous system is just like, thank you. Finally, you bitch. Why have you been doing this?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's so obvious. Okay, great. And then for your business, what do you do? What works for you now that you're in this realm?
Yeah, so I'm doing my podcast, obviously here. I'm doing a lot of podcast guesting, so I'm featuring on other people's podcasts. I'm doing online summits, events. I'm doing a couple of in-person things in the UK later this year, and then I'm just making email marketing my central hub, and I'm doing a lot of live kind of things for free, some paid, just to have one-on-one connection with people, because I love it. So that's what I'm doing.
You know why I love that? Because I think sometimes we can get so convinced one way is the answer. I've had so many clients be like, but I have to. I go, I don't think. Honestly, I think you could like be on Meetup and make a Meetup group and blow it. Like, I'm like, I don't even know all the ways. Like your posters in your town. Like I do love the reminder of like, there isn't just one way, and just find the way that works for you, because you'll do it consistently.
Yeah, you're literally so right. That's what I say, is like there are 101 different ways to market, and I'm such a marketing nerd, obviously. But for ADHDers in business, you need to find the way that works with your unique strengths, and you need to find the way that you're actually going to do sustainably and consistently. Because if you don't do it consistently, then it can't have anything can't have the time to compound effect and actually
100%.
pay off.
100%. That's so great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't love having to be online every day. That's actually why podcasting is now my like been
Mm,
gone up in my list, because I'm like, yeah, I can be on and like super
mm,
pumped, so great, but like it's kind of nice then to be off for 2 days afterwards and like come down and like go and hermit. So yeah,
yeah,
that's amazing.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And do you know what? It's funny that like I didn't really have the balls to kind of come off of social media before I kind of looked at my year end like figures and what was actually coming from Instagram versus my other marketing avenues.
Hmm.
And I was like, this doesn't make any sense that like
Yeah,
for me to stay on here. So obviously I was getting a fair amount from Instagram, but it wasn't anything compared to my other marketing avenues. And I just thought, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to double down on the other stuff, and my
totally.
revenue is doing better than ever. It was the best
Oh,
decision, and my
amazing.
health is like mental and physical is way better, and I'm I'm just yeah, best decision ever.
Yeah.
So keep
Okay.
going.
Love
It's
love
worth
that
it.
love that confirmation. Like make the choice. Make and like
Yeah.
again, great example of like not everyone outside of you would tell you that was a good advice, but you knew
Oh yeah.
internally what your body and like what you're responding to. So
Yeah.
like
Definitely. And that's
kudos
the
to you.
thing is that it, thank you, thank you. And that's the thing I did have people tell me, like, I had mentors even, and they were only trying to kind of do what they thought was best by me as
Of course.
my mentor, of course. But, and they weren't like, oh my God, don't do it. They were kind of like, you sure you want to do that? Like, I don't know if that's the best idea. And I'm just like, I've been doing this way long enough now. I'm not a
Yeah.
baby business owner. I'm not like a newbie. I trust this. I know my own figures. And
Yeah.
that's the power of like coming back to intuition.
Yeah.
Of you'll get a gut feeling of when something's really right, you won't ask the question, is it right? You'll just fucking do it.
Honestly, 100%. I love that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, well, I do have a little wild card question for
Go on.
you to round off. So, what is one piece of common business advice, sorry, that we haven't yet covered that high-performing ADHD entrepreneurs need to throw right in the bin, and why?
Mm, like so
So
many.
many.
Um, you know what I was a big shift for me was um, going from like I have to do this to like an example is like I have to keep this perfect schedule versus
Mm,
I simplified it as like I need form for flow. So I just need
mm,
buckets of time to focus in and like I need to write myself that day that note. I can't plan super far ahead. Like so it's like it figure out yours. Maybe you can figure out things by weeks or quarters, but like don't over structure and over plan. Do the doing. The
yeah,
other
yeah.
pieces you can incorporate, and every brain works differently. I'm best in the moment, so I try to just fashion all of my work to be like in the moment work versus
Mm,
super far ahead. So that over structured, like I know that I'm in a bad spot in business when I'm asking for lots of strategy because I'm like they're like don't
mm,
have strategy. Your strategy is to show up and create. I'm like okay that's for me, and that doesn't mean it's for everybody. But whatever that thing is that feels like you almost grasp for it when you're in a fear state, that's the thing you
mm,
don't need. You don't actually need it. You need a little
yeah.
bit of it. Like I need to know I have an hour of time to channel, but I don't need 3 weeks ahead to decide what I'm going to channel. And so it's like
Mm,
whatever. So maybe the basis is whatever the thing is you grasp for when you're in fear in your business is probably the thing that you don't need. Mine is strategy over strategizing.
yeah, I love that. Yeah, over strategizing and over planning rather than actually doing. I would so agree with that one. And like to me, when I think of strategy, I think just my quirky little definition,
Hmm.
like intuition, action, and planning is all part of the strategy, but there is nothing that will slow you down for like more in business than over planning and not doing. Like plan and then do. And if like for
Yeah.
you, if you know that planning and like I'm kind of the same. I need to have my general routine of like week by week, like I'll do my podcasting on a Monday, I'll do my email marketing on a Monday. I need that, otherwise I'll go nuts. But
Yeah.
otherwise, if I'm planning something that's like going to happen in 6 months and then I'm planning that out granularly, I will 99.9% of the time scrub it all out and redo it when the time comes anyway. Because I'll be like, who the fuck did this 6 months ago? Me? What was she thinking?
100%. Especially because I think neurodivergents move fast. So you're
Yeah.
rarely the person you were 6 months ago in a great way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so right. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, find out how you can like be productive in a way that works for you, not for someone else. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would so agree with that. Love
Yeah.
it.
Amazing.
Chef's kiss. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This has been amazing. I know that just people are going to find this incredibly valuable. Where can people find you these days? What have you got going on? And yeah, tell us more.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. ErinRogers.io is my website, but it's also my Instagram handle, so it's very easy to find me. I'm on TikTok as well, if that's a place that's like I'll say that's a blossoming, that's a growing for me. And then I'm running 2 programs right now, and they're all seasonally. So I like a season, and so there is I haven't given it a name. We just started because people were interested in, but a chance to basically move with your intuition, your channel, a bit of astrology, and you will change your life in 6 months. So we have that sort of larger container with super high touch, and then a little bit more of a place to integrate and move is called the inner knowing, and so we meet twice a month for breathwork integration, and so you're moving with the seasons, and but we're not over rotating or prescribing to like Saturn's here and it's bad. It's like a tree. A tree has 4 seasons, and so it's always the tree. You're always the tree, but we're just going to make sure your leaves blossom at the right time, you flower at the right time, then you also transform. So those are the 2 programs I have right now. And then I guess there's always one-on-one coaching if that's the vibe for you. But if you just come hang out and say hi, I'd be so happy to have you over there on Instagram.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, I will leave your links in the show notes. And
Thank
thank you so much again. And I will
Thank
see
you,
you guys
Polly.
soon.
Alright guys, that is a wrap for today, and if you loved this episode, I would be so grateful if you could leave a review and maybe even share it with a business buddy who you think would really get something from it too. It really does make a huge difference. The more reviews and shares, etc. that this podcast gets, the more it gets pushed out to other creative, brilliant, neurospicy business owners who really need to hear this stuff. And honestly, I just want more people like you to know that success does not have to look the way that we've been told it does. So the more you help me get this into the right hands, the better. And if you're ready to take things a step further and get some real support, just head to the description and you'll find the link to the Neuro-Friendly Sales Accelerator, which is my 4-month signature marketing coaching program for neurodivergent entrepreneurs. From there, you'll be able to book a free strategy call with me. We'll have a chat to see where you are and see if it's the right fit, and we will go from there. All right, see you in the next one.